begins. Receive of me my fury, children of man, and quell it! There is no turning back! Steel yourself! Twofold is my wrath, twice cast my foes! Creation trembles before my might! Behold! Fury given forth! My wrath is a ceaseless torrent! shall bring all to bear! Lightning Fist! Lightning Fist! Steel yourself! You're mine! Lightning Fist! Lightning Fist! Steel yourself! You're mine!